Hi guys, this is Dr. Denny with Generations Health and Wellness Center in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And in this video clip, I want to address genetic versus lifestyle. I've talked about that in several videos, but I want to go into it a little bit deeper where scientists have actually identified, they can actually look in a microscope and identify, they see of all the women who have breast cancer, they see this gene that is just turned on, that gene is being expressed. And so what they've done is they've actually labeled that gene as the breast cancer gene. And so most people, just saying that you have a breast cancer gene, most people think, yeah, I told you it's genetic. We have a breast cancer gene, right? But here's what I want you to know. Of all the women who have breast cancer, only about 35% of those women actually get, of all the women who have breast cancer gene, only about 35% of those women actually have breast cancer. So really, I'm interested in what the 65% do, because they're not expressing that gene that caused the breast cancer. And so it's how we eat, how we move, how we think, whether or not we are appreciative and loving and forgiving, whether or not we're getting exercise and movement from our spine and healthy neurology throughout our body, whether or not we're getting good nutrition and good food. All of those things will cause the expression to turn your genes on or turn them off. So to me, it doesn't matter if you have a breast cancer gene. The most important thing is that if this is your breast cancer gene, turn it off like a light switch. Do not express that gene, that way you don't get the breast cancer. Let me give you another example of a gene that has been identified by scientists. There's a gene called a hangover gene. Now, I don't drink anymore, but in college there'd be times where I party on the weekend. And I am certain that I have the hangover gene. Because here's what would happen. I would get drunk, I'd party the night before. The next day would be one of the most miserable and worthless days I ever had. It might take me all the way up until dinner time, until I feel halfway normal. I'm certain that I have a hangover gene. And now here's what I can do. I can blame all my hangovers on my parents. I can blame it on my family history, my heritage, because you know what? It's genetic. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, I hope you see that that's not true, because my genes or my parents didn't make me drink that alcohol. It's that toxic alcohol that I put into my body that caused the expression. It turned on my hangover gene, and then I had a horrible hangover. I've had friends that they could get drunk, they could have a party, and then very next day they could get up and run a 5K like it was nothing, no problem at all. But that's not the case with me, and so I don't drink anymore at all because I just hate the way that made me feel. So the thing is, you might have genes in your body right now that are labeled as heart disease genes, that are labeled as cancer genes, that are labeled as hangover genes. It doesn't matter. Just start to do the things that are not going to express those genes, that are going to actually turn those genes off. And that's what's epigenetics. Epigenetics is this expression. Epi means on top of. It's a covering on top of your genes that you can turn your genes on or express them, or you can turn them off and not express them and not have that illness, not have that disease. So you have beautiful genes, you have healthy genes. We just want to express those genes. So continue to look at these little drops of videos that you're getting on this and continue to make small, gradual, slow, easy lifestyle changes that's going to cause the expression of all of your healthy genes. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope this helps. Thanks, guys.